There are 10 towns in the UK right now where the housing market hasn't caught up with reality yet, where the jobs have already arrived, the trains already run, the regeneration money has already been spent. But the house prices still look like 2019. That window doesn't stay open forever. It closed in Harrogate. It closed in Hebden Bridge. It's about to close in these 10 places. Here's what nobody tells you about property booms. They don't announce themselves. By the time the headlines say a town is up and coming, you've already missed the entry point. The people who made money in Hebden Bridge before it became unaffordable, in Whitstable before the London buyers arrived, in Margate before the galleries opened, they bought when it looked wrong, when the numbers were cheap and the story wasn't finished yet. These 10 towns have the numbers. They have the story. They're just waiting for the rest of the country to notice. We're counting down all 10. By the end of this video, you're either going to call your mortgage broker or you're going to spend the next week on Rightmove. Either way, subscribe, because the next list covers towns where you can still buy a 3-bed for under £150,000. Let's go. Number 10. Hawick, Scottish borders. Hawick is the fastest rising town in Great Britain right now. Not Scotland, not the borders. Great Britain. According to Rightmove's January 2026 data, Hawick recorded an 18% price increase over the past year. 18%. While the rest of the UK was watching prices go sideways, Hawick quietly moved faster than anywhere else in the country. The numbers. Average house price £135,000. Semi-detached 3 beds regularly available for £110,000 to £130,000. Edinburgh is 55 miles north. The town sits on the River Teviot, surrounded by hills that get photographed for tourism posters. Knitwear heritage going back centuries. And a regeneration push from Scottish Borders Council that is actually spending real money. But here's what nobody is saying about Hawick. The 18% figure isn't a one-year spike from a single sale. It reflects genuine increased demand from remote workers who did the same calculation you're about to do. Edinburgh access on the days you need it, rural life the rest of the time, and a house price that doesn't make your eyes water. That formula is spreading through the borders. Bought in Hawick 18 months ago when my colleagues thought I was having some kind of episode. Average semi was £98,000 then. Same street is now at £120,000. I'm working from my spare room with a view of the Teviot. My colleagues are still on the central line. Reddit r/housing UK. The catch is obvious. Hawick is genuinely rural. The nearest cinema is a drive. But for the right person, remote worker, retiree, anyone who wants to own something real without debt that follows them for 40 years, Hawick is the most interesting number in UK property right now. Number 9. Darlington, County Durham. Darlington is a town, not a city, and that distinction matters because it means prices have never been inflated by city centre premiums. What Darlington does have is a direct train to London King's Cross in 2 hours and 15 minutes, Freeport status as part of the Teesside Freeport zone, and a £200 million town centre regeneration programme that started in 2022 and is still spending. And that combination at an average house price of £155,000 is genuinely unusual. Current data, average house price £155,000. 3-bed semis in Cockerton, Malden and Harrogate Hill available for £160,000 to £200,000. The Teesside Freeport designation covers Darlington's industrial areas, attracting manufacturing and logistics investment. The new Treasury North campus brought 750 civil service jobs to the town in 2023. Newcastle is 35 minutes north by train. York is 45 minutes south. Well, the Treasury North story is the one that hasn't been priced in yet. When central government relocates hundreds of high-earning civil servants to a town, the spending pattern changes. The coffee shops, the restaurants, the demand for rental property, the people who follow partners relocating, all of it builds. Darlington is 2 years into that process. The full effect takes 5 to 7 years to appear in the price data. Darlington gets written off as a northern town with a train station. It has a 2-hour connection to London, a Freeport, Treasury jobs, and a town centre that's been getting serious investment for 3 years. I don't know what people are waiting for. Property podcast, Northeast Investor, 2025, quick rant. Darlington invented the railway. The first passenger railway in the world ran from Darlington in 1825. The town has a transport museum about it, a mainline station that connects to London faster than most cities in the Midlands, and houses averaging £155,000. The birthplace of the railway, priced like nobody noticed. Number 8. Wrexham, North Wales. Wrexham is the largest town in North Wales, and it received city status in 2022. But it functions as a town, prices as a town, and the buyer profile is entirely a town buyer. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought a failing football club here, turned it into a global media event, and in the process made Wrexham one of the most talked about places in Britain. Property searches on Rightmove for Wrexham increased 34% year on year in 2025. And the prices haven't caught up with the attention yet. The real numbers: average house price £183,000, significantly below the northwest average. Chester is 12 miles east at £260,000 average. Manchester is 40 miles away. The town has a brand new £43 million college campus, a growing tech cluster at Wrexham Industrial Estate, one of the largest in Wales, and a football club now in League One after back-to-back promotions. Chester's overflow is the most important economic factor. Chester is beautiful, historic, and increasingly unaffordable. Wrexham is the obvious pressure valve. When Chester buyers start doing the 12-mile calculation, same commute distance, £77,000 cheaper on average, the prices move. That calculation is starting to happen. The Wrexham media thing sounds like a novelty until you look at what happened to Barrow after consecutive promotions, what happened to Forest Green after the Eco Stadium coverage. Attention creates search traffic creates demand. Demand moves prices. Wrexham is at the start of that curve. Property Podcast 2025. The honest picture: Wrexham still has pockets of deprivation, but the specific areas positioned for growth, Rossiter, Gresford, Marford, on the Chester side, are already moving and still cheap relative to Chester equivalents. That's the entry window. Number 7. Pontypridd, South Wales. Pontypridd is 20 minutes from Cardiff by train. Cardiff's average house price is £275,000. Pontypridd's average is £155,000. That £120,000 gap for a 20-minute train journey is one of the largest value differentials in the UK commuter belt, and it has been there for years, quietly, while Cardiff buyers stretched further and further south and east and somehow forgot to look north up the Taff Valley. Current data: average house price £155,000. Direct trains to Cardiff Central every 15 minutes during peak hours, one of the most frequent commuter services in Wales. The town has a covered Victorian market that has been genuinely regenerated, a new university campus for USW, and an Inisangarat War Memorial Park, one of the largest parks in Wales, sitting in the town centre. Rightmove recorded 8.1% price growth in Pontypridd over the past 12 months. The USW campus is the piece that changes the demand profile. A university brings students who discover the town, graduates who consider staying, and academic staff who need affordable housing within commuting distance of Cardiff. All three groups are currently making Pontypridd a more active housing market than it was 5 years ago. That activity is in the early stages. I commute from Pontypridd to Cardiff every day. The journey is 22 minutes, door to station, 18 minutes on the train, 10 minutes walk the other end, 50 minutes total. My Cardiff colleagues pay £280,000 for a house. I paid £148,000. I've done the maths more times than I should have to. The maths always works. Mumsnet, Welsh Property Forum, 2025. The Valley's towns north of Cardiff have historically carried a stigma that the data has never justified. Pontypridd specifically has the infrastructure, the park, the market, and the train frequency that most towns twice its profile would be proud of. The stigma is the discount. The discount is the opportunity. Number 6. Bury, Greater Manchester. Bury is a market town in Greater Manchester. Technically within the Greater Manchester boundary, but genuinely a town with its own identity, its own market, and its own character that survives being 9 miles from Manchester city centre. The Bury Black Pudding is nationally famous. The market is one of the best in the north, and the Metrolink tram connects the town centre directly to Manchester city centre in under 35 minutes with no interchange required. In the numbers, average house price £195,000. Manchester city centre average is over £280,000. The Metrolink runs every 6 minutes at peak. 3-bed semis in Bury with gardens available from £190,000 to £230,000. The same budget that gets you a 1-bed flat in Manchester's Ancoats. Bury has outstanding rated schools in several catchments, a strong family buyer base, and consistent demand that hasn't spiked yet in the way Stockport and Accrington already have. Stockport and Accrington are the comparison that tells the Bury story best. Both towns have the same relationship to Manchester. Good rail/tram connection, own identity, cheaper than the city. Stockport averaged £195,000 in 2018. It now averages £265,000. Accrington went from £280,000 to £395,000 in the same period. Bury is still at £195,000. The pattern is the same, the timing is later. A quick rant. Bury Market sells the best black pudding in England according to every food writer who has been there. A genuine Victorian covered market that Marks and Spencer literally started in, and tram access to Manchester every 6 minutes. The average house is £195,000. Accrington has a slightly nicer restaurant scene and costs £200,000 more. I'm not saying Bury is Accrington, I'm saying the gap is too large for what you actually get on both sides of it. The outstanding school catchments in Bury are the family buyer driver that will sustain demand over the next decade. School catchment pressure is the most reliable predictor of house price growth in commuter towns. When good schools fill up and catchment boundaries matter, prices move and don't come back down. Number 5. Blyth. Blyth has the most significant investment news of any town on this list, and the national property press has not yet translated it into prices. A £1 billion battery gigafactory, confirmed, planning approved, under construction. A ESC, backed by Nissan, is building one of the UK's largest battery manufacturing facilities at Blyth's Cumbria site, with UK government support of £100 million, up to 3,000 jobs when operational. And the average house price is £112,000. Hard data. Average house price £112,000. Newcastle is 12 miles south, under 30 minutes by car or bus. The town has a proper beach, a working harbour, and a seafront that surprises people who associate Northumberland coast only with Bamberg and sea houses. The Spine Road infrastructure project is improving the A1 connection, and that gigafactory is not a planning application. It is a confirmed, funded, under construction facility. The gigafactory is the kind of economic anchor that transforms a town's property trajectory over 5 to 10 years, not overnight. But 3,000 high-skill manufacturing jobs, supply chain businesses following them, increased local spending, workers needing housing. All of it builds demand pressure that reprices a market, Blyth at £112,000 is being priced as if the gigafactory doesn't exist. That mispricing has a limited lifespan. Number 4. Llanelli. Llanelli sits on the edge of the Gower Peninsula, the first area of outstanding natural beauty designated in the UK, and is 20 minutes by train from Swansea. Swansea itself is 45 minutes from Cardiff. The town has a £200 million wellness village development underway, a waterfront that is being transformed through the Llanelli Waterway project, and an average house price of £152,000 that reflects none of what is currently being built around it. Current figures: average house price £152,000. The Delta Lakes development on the Llanelli waterfront is a long-term regeneration project bringing leisure facilities, housing, and commercial space to reclaimed industrial land on the estuary. The Millennium Coastal Park, a 12-mile coastal path and nature reserve built on former industrial land, already runs through the town and is one of the best urban green spaces in Wales. Swansea is 20 minutes by train. Pembrokeshire National Park is 40 minutes west. The Gower adjacency is the piece that doesn't appear in the price. Llanelli sits on the edge of one of the most beautiful coastal areas in Britain. The Gower's own property prices reflect that. Gower averages are well above Llanelli's, but Llanelli gives you 15-minute access to Gower beaches, Swansea city amenities 20 minutes away, and Cardiff within reach, all for £152,000 average. That geographic position is undervalued. Llanelli has been the town that Swansea buyers discover when they can't afford Swansea anymore. That moment is happening now. The waterfront project, the coastal park, the Gower access, someone who bought here 3 years ago is looking very smart right now. Welsh Property Investment Blog 2025. The honest picture: parts of Llanelli town centre need work. The retail core has the same challenges every Welsh high street faces, but the waterfront side of town, the new developments, either coastal park, the estuary views, is a genuinely different proposition from the inland parts. Postcode research matters here more than the town-wide average. Number 3. Accrington, Lancashire. Accrington is the town people use as a shorthand for post-industrial Lancashire decline, which is exactly why its house prices are where they are and exactly why this is the moment to pay attention. The town is 15 minutes from Blackburn, 25 minutes from Burnley, and 40 minutes from Manchester by train. The average house price is £122,000, and Accrington Stanley Stadium hosts the most famous brand name in non-league football history, which is doing more for the town's cultural presence than people realise. The data: average house price £122,000, one of the lowest in Lancashire for a town with direct rail access to Manchester. 3-bed terraces available from £85,000 to £110,000 in the central postcodes. The Hyndburn Borough, which includes Accrington, has received significant levelling up funding for town centre investment. The Hawick Art Gallery in Accrington houses the largest collection of Tiffany glass outside the United States. That is not a sentence people expect to read about Accrington. The Manchester commuter calculation is the one that will eventually move Accrington's prices. At 40 minutes and £122,000 average, it sits in the same bracket as towns that have already significantly repriced: Rochdale, Oldham, Bury. The question is always timing, and Accrington's reputation has suppressed its prices below where the commute distance alone would put them. When that gap becomes obvious enough to a wider group of buyers, the catch-up happens quickly. Accrington has the lowest entry point of any town with a direct Manchester train that I've found. The reputation does the work of keeping prices down, but reputation is the last thing to change in a property market. By the time it changes, the price already has. Lancashire Property Investor 2025. Quick rant: the Hawick Art Gallery holds the finest collection of Louis Comfort Tiffany art glass in the world outside New York. It's a free museum in a Lancashire mill town that costs £122,000 on average. The reason people don't know this is the reason the prices are still there. Accrington's cultural secret is also its property secret. Number 2. Workington, Cumbria. Workington is on the Cumbrian coast, 35 miles south of Carlisle, and it is about to become one of the most economically significant towns in the UK's energy transition. The reason is offshore wind. The Irish Sea is one of the best offshore wind locations in the world, and Workington sits directly on it. The port has been designated as a key facility for offshore wind infrastructure, manufacturing, installation, and maintenance, bringing investment that the house prices have not yet seen. Hard data. Average house price £118,000. Workington Port is undergoing a £30 million expansion specifically to service the offshore wind sector. GE Renewable Energy and other major firms have confirmed operations. Number 1. Colwyn Bay. Colwyn Bay gets number 1 because it is doing something rare. It has a confirmed, funded, delivered regeneration project that has physically changed what the town looks and feels like. And the house prices still haven't caught up with the change. The pier restoration project returned the Victorian seafront pier to full operation after years of dereliction. The town centre has received consistent levelling up and Welsh government investment. And the average house price is £168,000 for a North Wales coastal town with direct trains to Chester in 25 minutes and Manchester in under 90. The full picture: average house price £168,000. Chester is 25 minutes by direct train. Chester averages £260,000. Manchester is 80 minutes. The A55 North Wales Expressway connects the town to the wider North Wales coast and to the English border in 30 minutes. 10 towns, 10 versions of the same calculation, a connection to somewhere expensive, prices that haven't caught up, investment already spent, and a reputation that's a decade behind the reality. The people who bought in Margate before the galleries opened, in Hastings before the London buyers arrived, in Hebden Bridge before it became unaffordable. They didn't have a crystal ball. They had a spreadsheet and enough patience to wait for the market to agree with them. And the towns on this list are asking you to do the same thing. The question isn't whether you can afford it. The question is whether you can hold it long enough for the market to notice what you notice first. Like this video if one of these 10 made you open right move. Drop in the comments which one. Want to know where people are looking. And subscribe because next week we're covering the specific postcodes within these towns where the entry prices are lowest relative to the investment coming in, not just the town, the street. That video is more specific, more useful, and more likely to make your estate agent nervous. Don't miss it. Don't